Hi everyone, thank you for watching and listening. I have an article here from ZeroHedge.com. I'm going to go ahead and link down below, but it's a pretty disturbing article. It appears from this letter. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Let's see. I'm going to read the top part. Dear Canadians, bad news. Your money is no longer welcome with U.S. brokerages. Why? Because you are, well, Canadian. Well, that makes sense, I guess, apparently. Our dear client, our account records indicate that you are a citizen of Canada. Business and regulatory considerations prohibit us from conducting future business with Canadian citizens, even those who reside in the United States of America on a permanent or temporary basis. And it just kind of goes on from there to talk about what you can do to either get your money back or transfer your account to another brokerage. So, anyways, this is something that a lot of people have been talking about, capital controls. People that I've known, and I've had discussions. There might be some issues with the banks, and people kind of look at me and roll their eyes. Yeah, yeah, Andrew, I get it, but Scottrade, I believe, is one of those brokerages who's actually had a lot of problems, particularly when we've during market volatility when the Dow Jones is down a certain percentage, or perhaps the S&P and some of the other ones. The Scottrade is usually almost always one of the ones that closes down or has a technical glitch or freezes. Now this to me is pointing to, well, it's a sign of the times ahead, but it's pointing to even further capital controls. And the capital controls at this point are getting so ridiculous that even the average Joe is starting to realize this. If you can't, for a company like this, and you're living in Canada, if you can't open an account in Scottrade, what does that tell you about how much capital Scottrade really has? So anybody who's in the United States who has an account with Scottrade, particularly if it's a massive account, $100,000, millions of dollars, whatever, you might want to call them up and ask them a few questions. And I think the first question I would be asking is, geez, you've cut off business from Canadian citizens. As an American, is my money safe in this bank? And FDIC only has so much money that they can cover for defunct accounts, if you know what I mean. In other words, once you lose your money, you can't get it back because the FDIC can't cover your loss. Just because of a brokerage going broke. And this is also a sign that perhaps maybe Scottrade is going broke. And just with all this margin trading, there was another story that came out. If I can find it, I'll link to it. But there was a trader, and that's the thing with trading. A lot of people are getting into it who really don't really know what they're doing. So they'll go in there, they'll open up an account. It's so easy to open up an account. Anybody can do it. But you go in there, you place a trade, you don't know whether it's a margin trade or whatever, or perhaps you just bought the stock, but then you wake up the next morning because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You wake up to find out that you owe over $100,000 or something crazy like that. And there's been stories that Zero Hedge has posted where that's exactly what has happened with some of the traders out there, where they've lost $100,000 or $200,000, and then they're on some sort of GoFundMe, one of those websites where you ask for donations for things and stuff like that. They're there asking for people to bail them out from their all their losses and stuff. And the funny thing about some of those funding pages or those accounts is that people will write. One of them, I was reading one of them, and one of them I wrote down, I do plan on continuing to trade once I, pay this off. So, in other words, fund this guy, bail him out, and then he's just going to screw up all over again. But this is, again, as I stated, this is just another form of capital controls. And it's also an example as of why everything is not right with the financial world, that there are really big problems with the credit system. I was listening to an interview last night with Bill Holter with X22 Spotlight Report, and he said, "Hey, look, the issues that we're going to have is we're going to have credit issues. Credit's eventually is going to end up being frozen, and you're just not going to be able to get your money out of the bank, whether it's a 401k or whatever. Even in a checking account, you might not even get your money out. And I'm not saying that he said that particularly, but if the lack of capital is that bad, it could get to that point. So I just wanted you to be aware of this. If you have your money in Bank of America, if you have your money in Deutsche Bank, you might want to consider just withdrawing a little bit more than you normally do when you normally do go out and withdraw your money, because they may not even have the capital to cover what is in your account. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.